to the webinar today with eminent panelists right here. We are awaiting Dr. UNNAT Pandit's visit soon. I take immense pleasure in welcoming all the experts with us today. I am Dhanya Bharathi. I am the CEO and Creative Director of Venkateswara Group of Schools, Chennai. We are a group of schools with 4 institutions and 6,000 students. And I take it. He is the Program Director of Atal Innovation Mission. And he is here with us today. I have a very quick question. So what kind of support do schools and colleges can we seek from Atal Innovation Mission, sir, in terms of mentoring, in terms of product to panel facing, in terms of business modeling, in terms of funding opportunities, and what are generally the programs that are rolled out by Atal Innovation Mission for the benefit of school students, college students, likewise for tinkering laboratories and incubation centers all around India. If you could give us insight on that, that would be wonderful, sir.
Yeah, we have a very good morning to all of you. And it is really good to connect with you and the group of Venkateswara School. I have been there once, so I know they are doing a wonderful work in nurturing the creativity and innovative skill of the students. And as far as the mentorship is concerned, we have a program called Mentor of Change, wherein we are inviting all the professionals from the various sectors to come forward and spend some time with the students and the aspiring innovators. So those who, as soon as all professionals might have got the mentoring from someone to reach to this particular scale. So now this program offers them the opportunity to connect with the students and aspiring innovators, and this program will help them, the students and aspiring innovators, by getting the pro bono mentor expertise, can join this, can join their expert field of invention, like mechanical engineering can mentor innovation dealing with the mechanical engineering. The civil engineer accordingly, electronics, communication, likewise the students and aspiring innovators, how they can promote and the innovation and innovation in a way to address the societal need. Now, Atal Innovation Mission is continuously promoted, and that's how the innovation is nurtured through Atal Tinkering Lab. So students see opportunities of innovating, tinkering through Atal Tinkering Lab. If they have a serious innovation which they would like to commercially deploy, and the innovation can also be explored through the startup journey, then we have a series of initiative which can be taken up to support them, and these programs are offering them a backbone support. One of such programs is Atal Incubation Center, wherein in Chennai, Anna University, we have offered them to establish the Atal Incubation Center, which offers all support throughout, from the ideation to pre-prototype, proof of concept, prototype, minimum viable product through Atal Incubation Center. Second, new initiative Fairly, it is new, just a few months old, which is the Atal Community Innovation Center. So we offer the opportunity through this as a pre-incubation support into tier 2, tier 3 cities. So 24 institutions are selected by Atal Innovation Mission, and which is spread all across 16 states.
मैम एक्चुअली मैं ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ दिल्ली के लिए
So that
और फिर मैं अपने नानी के घर पे तो मैं दिल्ली के लिए ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ.
so that's how Atal Community Innovation Center is going to get function in tier 2, tier 3. Now, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, I would proudly like to announce that 3 such community innovation center is getting established in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So one of the center I know is going to be in Kanyakumari. One of such center is in Sivakasi, and one another center. So these are fairly a very small town, but it will offer the students and the innovation. It's a hub for the how to explore. This is something. So this is what students and young team and exploring the startup innovation journey.
Saying thank you, sir. He is in a bus traveling between states on call. He is working for the rest of us, and it is very nice of you, even amidst your altering schedules and busy journeys, you are able to connect to us. I thank you for that. And we are indeed very happy to know that we have 3 incubation centers, community incubation centers coming up in Tamil Nadu, helping in reaching out to tier 2 and 3 cities, and hopefully cherish the dream and realize the dream of reaching rural kids in a way. Thank you very much for your input. If you could tell us more about what remote learning possibilities are available for our children around India from Atal Innovation Mission, it would be very helpful for all the attendees.
We are conducting the online session, and during this lockdown period, students should connect to Atal Innovation Mission's long online session, and secondly, to nurture the real creative skills among the students, like the coding skills, like some programming if they would like to explore, robotics, electronics, sensors. On all this, we are periodically conducting all our sessions, and they can connect through the Facebook, they can connect through the Twitter. We are posting our link on Twitter so that they can connect with the mentors and the training sessions which we are conducting. And on a regular basis, we are exploring and new opportunities how we can offer these to the students, like on artificial intelligence, machine learning. What is the fundamental and basics of this kind of technology and skill building initiative? So I would like to offer this to all the students on our Facebook page and also on our Twitter linkage. And the details are also available on Atal Innovation Mission website. So would appeal all these schools who there in this Zoom session organized by Sri Venkateswara Group of Schools to join this as well. And your school is also actively conducting all such sessions. This is something a real time is and potential to gear up for the future challenges which we are going to face. So, Daniel. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. For people who couldn't hear him properly, he spoke about online sessions that are being conducted through Atal Innovation Mission's website. We have Tinker from Home lessons on artificial intelligence and CAD, which is the design software. So children of any age can log in and be benefited from the online sessions that are being conducted either through the Facebook pages or through AIM's website. And he also spoke about how colleges can deal along with schools in terms of incubation center and tinkering working together. And he also spoke about the initiatives that are already being made ready from the context of COVID. And he has also given me an input about how 3D printed face masks are being done, shared ventilators are being done for the benefit of healthcare division. And there's something called Germi Ban that is coming, which sterilizes any room of a particular size. And diagnostic test kits are coming up, particularly COSARA, which is again an incubator of Atal Innovation Mission. And students from all over the country have come up with homemade sanitizer solutions, automated sanitizer dispensers, doorbells, touch-free doorbells, automated ones, Corona tracker mobile applications, 3D face shields. All these are small innovations that children around India are contributing towards COVID. Sir, particularly in context to COVID, what do you think children have to, consider? Does it have to be civic welfare? Does it have to be healthcare? And how can children contribute to various aspects of dealing with Corona at the moment? Could you please elaborate on that?
See, students really need to explore whatever they have learned during their tinkering phase and how they can design a new product out of this. So the example which you have also quoted and we have also encouraged, that touch-free doorbell. So how you can explore a touch-free doorbell. So you have to use the motion sensor and then you have to ensure that, and can you design this similar doorbell for your house and the nearby 3 to 4 house? This is something which will give you the opportunity to learn and practice the knowledge which you have gained. And the sensors are available as well. So this is something which is easily doable thing. Secondly, if you want to ensure that proper dispensing happens from the sanitizer, liquid sanitizer. So how the might have utilized also that motion sensor goes down the bottle and then you will get a particular 2 ml of the sanitizer. So this is something which is doable. Learn the science behind this and improve the practical aspect of learning from this. And this is something which I feel that is very useful. Today, unfortunately, I am in a very poor network connectivity, so my voice is also breaking. I learned this. If time permits, would love to connect with you. So, Dhanya ji, do let me know the suitable time. We'll again connect and we'll explore the kind of innovations being explored through Atal Innovation Mission on this COVID-19 challenge.
Definitely, sir. So the key takeaway from what sir has spoken now is about practicing innovation at home. You don't have to be a scientist to begin with. You have to be a tinkerer to begin with. You can practice innovation at home. Think about solutions that are already there and see if you can increase the efficiency, the practicality of the solutions that are already available. That's a brilliant insight, sir. I would now request Dr. Kumar to take over and give us your wisdom upon idea and implementation of anything that relates to innovation. Do we have to sell only products, or should we sell ideas too?
Actually, it's a little unfortunate that Dr. UNNAT cannot be audible.
Truly.
His things were not so continuous. Anyway, I will just thank you once again, and thanks to all the audience for being around these difficult times. Basically, ideas are what we look for, and the implementation strategies are many in this country. I have been around the world and I have seen several countries which are certainly small edges here and there, but as a country, I don't see any other country like India as the holistic advantage. We have the material resources, we have the intellectual resources, we have a society which is very ethical, we have a student community which is blooming with ideas. So I see the most holistic society as our country. It's just not a patriotic statement, is what I have been observing lab over the last 15 to 20 years. And so I would like to make some clear statements here. So young minds are the best resource for any new ideas, and they are like a new seed or a good seed which can evolve as a plant, which can yield just flowers, fragrant flowers, or it can yield the paddy, and thereby we take it as a consumer cereal or a rice. And it can also evolve as a tree, which can bring in just shadow, or it can give a juicy fruit. So young minds should believe in this kind of strategic thinking, and they should not always think about a product which can be immediately useful, because many ideas of research nature evolve into a product over a period of time. At least it takes an incubation period. That's why we call it as an incubation center. And an innovation always takes a path which can go into different directions and which can be of attraction to many people as well. You give some initial ideas in the school. For example, I always remember this as one of the best examples which I carry forward. In one of the occasions like this, I had a student from an engineering institution coming up with an idea where a deaf or a dumb person can hear what others speak. Basically, their hearing is impaired, but she picked up an idea that at the school level, when the teacher said there is a nerve which connects your teeth and the brain, she was able to coordinate this idea, and then she evolved it over 4 to 5 years into a product, which means she embedded a sensor in the teeth, and then subsequently, if you have a mobile phone, and if the mobile phone has a receptor, basically when we communicate through a mobile phone, the mobile phone has a transceiver from your side as well as the other side. So when I transmit a speech, you receive. Similarly, when you transmit a speech, my mobile phone receives. So this is the concept that she embedded in the teeth, a sensor, and then from that sensor, she was able to receive the signals which goes into the mobile phone, or if the music is played in the mobile phone, I could hear it without a physical connectivity to the mobile phone. So these are simple ideas, but this is what I wish the young minds take it forward from the school level. This is what Mr. UNNAT also had been emphasizing. We have new concepts of machine learning, artificial intelligence. These are not big jargons, but these are realistic words. The artificial intelligence has enabled people now to identify this COVID problem with the use of X-ray data. They can immediately come up within 10 minutes whether a person is infected. And similarly, with a mobile phone, you can track a person who is affected in COVID so that his geographic locations can be identified. These are very unique ideas. This can be done with artificial intelligence and machine learning. But when we come up with a new idea at the school level, we may have an idea which needs a ocean or a sea to be used for some reasons. Don't mind, never mind. Somebody may kind of say that you are talking about something which is impractical. Just don't worry about it. Just come up with the idea, try to patent that idea or protect your idea, which is equally important. And once you have these protection possibilities, then you can carry forward, because there are many people who are willing to technically handhold such young minds, and there are many financial institutions which are willing to handhold this kind of new ideas. Basically, there are several institutions at the national level, at the global level, at the regional level. Tamil Nadu has been the first state to put forward a big funding to the extent of 100 crores through the Planning Commission and called it as Tamil Nadu Innovation Initiative. Even now it is operational, but it needs an institutional kind of representation to get the funding. But what is important is there is a mechanism in place. You can apply through your peers, through your teachers, or through your institution, and then get hold of some realistic funding. There are also small scale funding possible. For example, there is the industries like Confederation of Indian Industries, All India Manufacturing Organizations, and then even in Tamil Nadu, once again, Tamil Nadu Small and Tiny Manufacturers Association, which is called as Stanstia, which is just opposite to Guindy railway station. They can fund you if you are having a small idea, but it needs a ocean. It needs something which is humongous. I don't have access to it as an expert. Also, I do not know how to get an access. But there are bodies which can handhold you. There are financial institutions which can support you to get your idea to be formulated and then to be implemented at various levels. So healthcare workers need some kind of a sensor. For example, if you would have been hearing even in recent days that somebody who goes inside to unblock or release a block in a city like Chennai, then he suffocates and he dies. So what is the problem? They do not have a proper sensor before they venture into this job. So one can come up with some simple ideas where some sensors can be handheld, and then it can give a signal so that he can or she can be protected from such kind of problem. On the other hand, sensors are needed for even agricultural produce. For example, you would have been hearing nowadays about what is known as internet-enabled communication systems, wherein you don't have to see if a paddy or a huge agricultural farm is being infected with a particular disease. You cannot go and identify a particular tree or a particular plant or a particular region is infected. There are now sensors which can identify that given zone is kind of into some trouble. And similarly, if it needs a nutritious mineral, a plant needs a nutritious mineral, there are techniques which are known as hydroponics, but these are internet-enabled techniques so that you can provide a nutrient, you can provide water based on the demand, and so therefore the thinkers at the school level can come up with novel thinking, novel ideas. For example, the other panelist, Mr. Rahman, I'm told that he is working on robots. And so robots can go into domains of healthcare without much kind of interactive physical, or rather the healthcare professionals' involvement, so that they can still be functionally helping those who are infected. There are a lot of such possibilities. For example, there is what is known as the 3D printing, which can produce large number of products in a very small time frame without the intervention of a human laborer. Why is it so important? For example, when you want to talk about healthcare products, the first thing is The product itself should be well protected, or it should be encapsulated in such a system until it is in place of use, it has not been manipulated. So such kind of products have to be done in 3D printing, which can be done without the intervention or the presence of a human being. This is also known as Industry 4.0, which means you can have an internet access, you can monitor the quality of the raw material from where it is being supplied to the point of production. You can monitor the production line, whether it is being done with the specifications you are looking for, and then whether when it is packed, you can keep monitoring it. For example, I will just say another challenge such kind of problems throw to anyone who is interested in innovation. One of my close friend who is a big industrialist by now, he had been trying to promote poultry breeding in a zone which is rich of birds. Many of you may know that there is a place by name Vedanangal. He wanted to build a poultry breeding center, like whatever is happening in Namakal and other places. When he initiated this as a good idea, with all the infrastructure and investment to the extent of about 5 crores, one of his good friends from Calcutta comes and says, look, there is this swine flu and many of these poultry are getting killed. You are starting something which can be counterproductive, which can be a failure. So he thought the whole night, and then he said, okay, let me stop this production. That was the initial decision, which was a rightful decision. And subsequently, he didn't give up, but he went around and understood the culture of industrialization, and he realized that the protein which is available in a poultry or in a chicken, whatever it is also equally available in a vegetarian product, which is the mushroom. So he understood how the mushroom can be cultivated, how the so-called germinations can be done in a proper environment. It needs a sub-zero temperature or close to 17 degrees centigrade to keep these mushrooms yield. And in a place like Chennai, where it is very hot and humid, he has to maintain this temperature and then provide that environment for this so-called mushroom to breed. But he took it as a challenge. This is what young mind should realize. Whenever you face problems, you should believe that it is a challenge rather than something to put a full stop. So please believe in ideas. Ideas is what we are looking for, and implementation strategies are many. As I said, there are global agencies, for example, DST in the form of a link with the global agencies as what is known as GITA, G-I-T-A, Global Initiative and Technology Alliance, which means if you have an excellent product which is not just enough for India, it could be commercialized in Europe, it could be commercialized in the Western world, it could be commercialized even in China or any other place for that matter. It may demand a different topographical condition, it may demand a different temperature. So it may not work in a hot and humid climate in Chennai, but it will work fantastically in Jammu and Kashmir or in European weather. So that kind of a product cannot be groomed here, but don't worry, you have this Gita which will handhold you, which will take your product, your idea to gestation, to incubation, and then evolve as a product in an European conditions. So these are some of the initial inputs I can give. There are several agencies which are willing to more than fund, more than handhold, because it is not just a product that they are always interested in commercialization. It is an idea that any human being wants to groom, and particularly in a situation like COVID, we are looking for a solution from where any human being would be happy to move around, because the fundamental idea of a human being is to socialize. We are all locked down. We do not know what to do. We do not know what will be in stake in the next few weeks to come. But if you come up with a vaccine idea, it may not work tomorrow morning, but don't mind. You may not be able to produce it, but please understand there is a methodology to patent, protect your thinking capacity, which is also equally important. There is this Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology. You may not know how to patent, how to protect your copyrights. So what do? You just write to the patent office in Chennai, asking them to give you an application or how to go about it. They may not be still able to give you all that you need, but there is an umbrella which is known as Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology, which operates in the DOT or Directorate of Technical Education campus which is just adjacent to Anna University campus. You can walk in there, ask them to help in identifying or what is known as pattern search, whether the idea that you have has already been patented. There's something which is related to it, so that you can groom it. And then once you have this idea which is rightful, which is not being done, or which is not thought about by anybody else, then obviously you can go for the next step of patenting, which can be supported by this Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology. I can tell you more examples. For example, this Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology can also submit a major proposal with you as a partner, with your institution as a partner, with your society as a partner. You don't have to worry because I am a school student, because I am a teacher, I do not know how to go forward and make a product. Don't worry too much about everything. Just understand who you are, whether you are an Einstein or a Graham Bell or a Thomas Alva Edison. What does it mean? If an Einstein wrote theories, Einstein made postulates which are extraordinary for a physicist. But a layman may not understand what Einstein did in terms of theory of relativity, what he wrote as an inscription of energy as equal to mc square. But that E is equal to mc square was very useful to Oppenheimer, and he built the atomic bomb, or rather the energy nuclear fission products can be made because of Einstein's theory. Whereas Edison and Graham Bell invented products. You may be an Edison, you may be an Einstein. Just don't confuse yourself. Just be clear as to what you are. Just push forward your ideas and go to agencies. As I said, Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology is to enable you to make your product into fruition, which means they can write to the central government agencies like DST. And DST has a program which is to support only state-specific issues. It has several wings of support, but it can support if a project or if a proposal comes from this Tamil Nadu State Council, because it has been rooted from a single person who has very fundamental ideas of science. He may not be able to understand everything, but he knows a local problem. He has come up with a solution. He do not know whether it can be a product which can be commercialized in large scale, or which can be a product which is very specific for a COVID-like problem. So how do I take it forward? I don't worry about it. I believe in the patent office, and the patent office gives me all the rights. Then I give it to Tamil Nadu State Council. It writes to the national agency, and the national agency looks into various aspects and says, oh, this proposal is fantastic. We will try to take it as a state-specific problem and then evolve it as a good product. So this is how everything can be implemented. This is how everything should be implemented as well. So ideas are the fundamentals of everything which I'm telling you, and your ideas have to be patented, which is very, very important. Even if it is a very raw idea, just don't give too much thought, but try to talk to your teachers, try to talk to your parents, try to talk to your fraternity, which has a better experience, and they in turn will be able to guide you better. With all these communications and all these internet-enabled technology links, we can do real wonders. And just to finish, there are several agencies, like you have been talking about learning processes. So anybody for that matter, if you want to cross-check whether there is a related platform, for example, we keep on telling about artificial intelligence, machine learning, but I would just like to have a bird's eye view. What do? There are platforms like MOOC, for example, massive open online courses, which are offered by excellent institutions outside the country and within the country. Stanford offers several programs, which is the world's best university. Oxford offers several programs of MOOC courses. Try to follow one of them which is of interest to you. Even otherwise, there are NPTEL, which is known as National Program on Technology Enabled Learning, which was initiated by the MHRD. You try to just Google and then link NPTEL with the idea, with the program that you are interested, and then it will list all the courses. And some of the courses are offered in the local or vernacular languages also. Generally, it's in English, so you can try to follow one of these courses. And if you are a better learner, or if you are trying to pitch in a higher level of thought process, which is not at a fundamental level, you may still be at the school level, but your thought process is so high, like you are on Ramanujan. You are working on number theory. Nobody understands what's number theory and what is its benefit today. But certainly believe yourself, and the belief can give you a lot of hopes, can enable you to come up certainly very high-class products. Just to conclude, I will finish in one quick example of what happened in Graham Bell's laboratory. In Graham Bell's laboratory, they were trying to use the invented transistor for their so-called communication systems. And in that process, they wanted to manufacture more of such transistors. Unfortunately, the transistor action was invented in May in 1959, but till November, they were not able to reproduce this transistor action. You know what? It was just because the material was not pure enough. And the Bell had a thinking that his entire team average age should not exceed 28. One of the persons who was, rather the only old person was by name Fan, P-F-A-N. He was 41. He was a chemist. And after a small nap, he came up with an idea that if you can do what is known as a zone purification, you can get a very high quality material. And then subsequently, he came up with a finished product. Why do I tell this? A mathematician is also needed. A COVID problem cannot be solved only by biologists, only by a medical practitioner, only by an inventor. It can be solved by a mathematician, because mathematical modelings can only predict whether this is in a progressive state or in a declining state or in a flattened curve, whether it can evolve as a W model, whether it will just saturate as an exponential curve. All these things can be understood only by a mathematician. So please believe that whatever thought process you have, that thought process can be elevated to a higher level if you keep learning in that domain. So one of the opportunities, one is known as a global initiative and academic networking, which is known as a GYAN program, which has been done in this country over the last 3 years with the help of IIT Kharagpur as a coordinating center. You can Google and see any GYAN program which is of interest to you on a specific topic. Don't worry always about a specific problem of COVID as of now, but you can also try to think about a mathematical modeling which is related to COVID, but you want to understand it better. You want to understand it in terms of Ramanujan's theory, you just see in NPTEL, in GYAN program, or in MOOC courses, and then there is n number of such learning centers which are available. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope you will have more initiatives. Wish you all the best.
Sir, we felt we were in a cinema that was dynamic storytelling. It was very powerful, and I would like to personally congratulate and be very thankful that you are in our panel, because the analogies that you brought in, considering innovation as a seed and how it grows in the minds of children, it's not necessarily overnight development, but it takes years to build a specific thought process. That's a very important thing that our students right now all over the world need to know and understand. And you have spoken about patenting, because that has been a big question mark in the minds of young children. We have ideas, but we don't know if this is already present elsewhere, or we do not know how to patent them. We do not even know the first step of what patenting is. So you've given us a direction towards, having an idea is one thing. The process after that is the most difficult. So you've given us clear direction on that particular.
Please don't use words difficulty. It is just a process. Okay.
No, for young children. I'm talking in terms of young children.
As I said, we have enough platforms. We have enough environmental culture in this country, which is not available even in the best of the societies like US or Japan or whatever be the country, you can name it. I am very confident that I make a statement which is just not too proud about my nation, which is the most realistic statement I'm making. We are a very unique country which has material resources, manpower resources, respect for each other, a culture which has ethics in it. So we don't just violate something and then try to think only in terms of making global challenges or making money out of it. Okay. Anyway, it's a process, that's all. So if you are coming with an idea which needs a hand holding, there are people available, but please understand, you have to protect your idea. That's one fundamental. And there are enough hand holding, enough environmental structure which gives you support in terms of finance and technical. Thank you once again.
Wonderful, sir. I would then say we are at an advantageous position because young scientists from developed nations like US. I recently heard a TED talk about a young scientist who spoke. Her patenting process was the most difficult out of all her. She's got many patents and many products that she is currently in gestating, and few are out in the market. But she says patenting has been a difficult process for her. So if it's that easy in India, and I would like to say that we are really privileged about that. And I particularly would like to emphasize the aspects of learning that you brought when you spoke about poultry breeding event, the center, where the event about Vedandangal's innovation. So you had spoken about actively listening to all stakeholders, not just think about the product, but put it on trial and listen to the feedback with all your senses and respond in a sensible way so that it makes an impact on the targeted audience. And also, when you're making that observation, be without judgments. I think that's the greatest learning that we have all gained from your Power Pact presentation. And also think about providing solutions on multiple perspectives for multiple functions. So that is another important aspect of learning that we will have to inculcate as part of daily living, so that it comes organically to us as we observe the environment around us and people around us. And you also spoke about always have a comma and never put a period on your quest. So that was a lovely addition. And when you spoke about I can either be an Einstein or an Oppenheim. So you knowing previously existing knowledge is key to creating more and new. So that is a reality check for all of us as learners, because you may think it is cool to invent something new, but you should also know that it is very cool to understand what is already existing and apply that to benefit a large number of people. So social impact is something that all of us have to live thinking every day. And the particulars about MOOCs, DNC's GAP program, GYAN program, I'm sure it would have been a truckload of information for all our listeners here. That also leads to me thinking that what should I do as an institution to imbibe this kind of thinking in children right from a very young age. So that
if you permit, I will just once again add an
yes, sir, please.
The Graham Bell's lab, as I said, is a real role model for me, which should be followed. Any Western models cannot be adaptable to our society. There is no one size which fits all. Okay, it's a very important statement. Everybody should follow. There is no one unique size which fits everybody. Okay, so but there are certain things which can be taken as a good example. So what did Graham Bell do? He had this invention and then he patented it. Luckily, there was a parallel patent which was done, but he somehow won the patent case and then he got the rights for the telephone. So it so happened, as I said, he brought in youngsters to his so-called laboratory, and then he said, you are a mathematician, do whatever you want. You are a physicist, do whatever you want to enable a technology which is related to communication. That should be the fundamental. Okay. So like that, young minds should focus on a given problem and revolve around it. You cannot think all the time that I'm an Einstein, that I'm a Ramanujan. Okay. So if you think every time I'm going to be the Ramanujan and then nobody should disturb me, I will get up whenever I like or I will do whatever I like, it will never end up with anything which is purposeful. So you should know your spirit inside, you should know your strength inside. So what I wanted to convey was, there was a phonetic expert in Graham Bell's lab. What is a phonetic expert? A phonetic expert tries to decipher what is the similarity between one language and the other language. For example, in Korean, they say Amma. like what we say in Tamil or in most of the Indian languages, Amma for mother. Okay, so a phonetician can decipher such kind of languages, and that is how these translational structures are now available over even a phone. Similarly, he hired a mathematician, and the mathematician was developing a model which was known as network theory in the early 59 or 60. He was a PhD from a given university in US. He goes around different institutions of higher learning, picks up the best of them in the given place, and then asks them to come and work for him. Okay, so this number theory fellow, the networking fellow, who is a mathematician, joins Bell and tells him, look, you put more of your communication systems in a place like Chicago, because Chicago has a clustered population, and based on my network model, I can connect several towns in and around Chicago, and you can have better earning, because in those days the communication was done through a cable, which was a copper cable, and so if he has to lay a cable from New York to Chicago, which is going to be expensive, he has to know the revenue model. So this networking guy said, I will give you a networking theory which will spread across Chicago very effectively, and then you can earn more. So this is what people should understand. You understand your strength, you revolve around a problem like COVID, you revolve around a problem of robotics, you revolve around a problem of just protecting people around you. You don't have to be always an inventor. You can be a good communicator, and then you can tell how to protect yourself in this situation, how to take care of others in this situation, how to educate them. This is also very important. Okay, stop. Thank you.
Perfect, sir. You are talking about the approach of integrated living and understanding how disparate disciplines can come together and create something that is very, very beautiful. So that is another key takeaway that I would like to take and recommend that all of us ponder over this thought and identifying patterns that others cannot see. That is something that has to be cultivated in the minds of children. So that leads to Mrs. Chitra Ravi from Chrysalis. Would you like to take over and talk about design thinking and grooming children in all these aspects, please?
Thank you, Dhanya. I think, first of all, gratefulness and gratitude for such a lovely thought and bringing such people, Dr. UNNAT, Dr. Kumar. I think this morning is so well spent listening to both of them. And I'm going to start with what Dr. Kumar said, right? Like challenge is an opportunity and not a full stop. So even in design thinking, if you look at it, it talks about context as the key, context analysis. And from there, the process of problem identification, articulating the problem in a well-defined manner, that, critical and creative thinking coming in to visualize, model, prototype, and then finally the innovation, the product, and then comes the patent, etc. Right? So I think today we are all pushed to a beautiful context. People may wonder how we can call this problem called COVID beautiful context. But I think this is what, Dr. Kumar and Dr. UNNAT said, use this opportunity to see whether we need to, our roles. I see that there are teachers, students, and parents, I'm sure, in this webinar. And I'm going to take a step back and say, while the child is growing, what is the condition and what is it that this educational ecosystem should focus on to bring this, the design thinking, the process, the innovation are all like this flowery, trees that are full of flowers and fruits. But more important is the foundation. Are we having an education ecosystem that is laying a very strong root and the factors necessary for the plant to grow? And this is not, in my mind, and Chrysalis has always believed, innovation or even the tinkering that we talk about. I'm grateful for Atal Tinkering Lab to have given a laboratory status to tinkering, right? All children are born tinkerers. I'm sure we'll all agree that they are a whole embodiment of curiosity and tinkering. But we as adult stakeholders sometimes, make the mistake of saying, stop tinkering, or stop thinking and take your textbook, right? That is the usual phrase that is taken up by schools and teachers. Chrysalis, and I know that Dhanya knows us well, and we know this beautiful group of schools and a leader like Dhanya so well. We bring that reminder in every step with the school stakeholders. Dr. Unnat spoke about practicing innovation at home. Is this only because we are all locked down? No. This innovation at home or innovation at any place is actually an opportunity that existed always and will continue to exist even post-COVID. How are we going to remind ourselves that it is our duty as adult stakeholders to allow children to blossom in such a scenario? How do we allow them that we bring this integration into the thought process of the child, right? I mean, I think one of the fundamental things I want to speak about here is creating a conducive environment for this. Children are not born with the fear of failure, but we as adult stakeholders and community bring in a fear of failure into the child. We do not allow children to make mistakes. We do not allow children to fall and get up. We do that when the child starts walking, but after he enters school, even a small spelling mistake is something that we start, worrying about. So I think the basis of what Dr. Kumar said is about continuously attempting. I mean, you take any innovator, any inventor, I don't think they had the fear of failure. In fact, they embraced failure. It was not like, the first time they attempted something that they got it right. Do our schools and our home environment provide this opportunity and environment to make mistakes and learn from it? That is the number one thing that I would like to talk about. Dr. Kumar and I think even Dr. Unnat touched upon the child's ability to believe in itself. Dr. Kumar, I think, repeatedly said, believe in yourself. I want to add here that the teacher and the parent has to believe immensely in the child. Many times we underestimate the child. We do not believe. I think it is very, very critical that our education system and the school formalizes this tinkering, not just in the lab, but in the process of learning.
Curriculum.
How do you bring that, we should make that the child to make low-stake mistakes. Of course, we don't allow even a toddler to go touch the fire, but we allow the toddler to fall a bit and then rise up and we all clap. Is it the same thing that we are doing? I want to also add that while I think rightfully Dr. Kumar and Dr. Unnat spoke a lot about the science behind, I want to take a step back and say the art and the social emotional quotient is very, very critical for a child's development. Because even today, when Dr. Kumar said, reach out to the people who are needy, it is a lot about empathy. It is a lot about social responsibility. And any innovation is not just about doing something for the sake of doing. It is about solving the world's problems, pain, and anguish, right? And that is where the humanity part comes. That is where we sometimes underestimate the purpose of environmental science or social studies, while math and science, like Dr. Kumar said, are so critical. A mathematical mind, a scientific mind, a biological mind in today's health crisis. I feel without the humanity, without the background of art and thinking responsibly, this is not going to lead to an innovation that will save the world and others. It's not just about, I'm safe in my house, I'm indoors, right? I think Dr. Kumar asked in the beginning, should I wear a mask and come? And I said, no, we are all safe indoors. But it is not about our safety alone. How do we ensure that we are contributing in every step for the world? Do we have these right from the kindergarten? It is not just about learning ABC. Literacy is important, but are we creating a social, emotional development of the child that, along with the STEM, along with technology, along with science, along with mathematics, engineering, grooms the child, and we as adult stakeholders are responsible. So my appeal here to the parents and the teachers are, do not, or I would put it more positively, let's together strive to create a blossoming environment, you know, allowing the child to experiment, allowing the child to tinker. I love the word tinker because that's the natural, you know, aspect in every child. You know, they want to explore. You see a toddler, he's ripping apart every little thing that he sees. I mean, he may not understand what the chip is all about, but he wants to see how this little thing is working, you know. But we sometimes, or maybe many times, I'm just being polite here to all of us as adult stakeholders, we prohibit it. We do not allow, in a safe environment, we should allow a lot more tinkering to happen. And in every 40 minutes period in a class, as we say, one of the basic principles of design thinking is problem identification and articulation. How does this happen? Only when we allow children to question, when we create a questioning environment. But today we say that the large ecosystem, and I'm talking about an average education institution here, we just ask the questions and allow the child to answer from probably what he has learned by heart. Do we ever allow the child to ask questions? In fact, my counsel for all parents have been, when a child comes home, don't ask, what did the teacher ask you? Ask the child, what did you ask the teacher, right? I mean, that is the opportunity we need to provide. That is what we need to ask the child, because more and more questions we ask, the more and more better we become in articulating the problem. Today, we cannot say broadly that, oh, there is COVID and where is the world going to go? True scientific thinkers and true design thinkers will make these problems, chunk them and create a nice a problem articulation, for which then they will start working towards ideation. And you know, I think in Dr. Kumar's speech there were lovely analogies and you know, anecdotes that we all should remember. And I am here only saying, because my expertise lies in the formative years education. You know, we are focusing on early education, primary, and now of course we work with the ATL in the middle school. Our approach and our penchant has always been, how do we create these minds? How do we make this tree strong? Then when it blossoms, then it is going to give the world the fruits. You know, that is where we come in. And I appeal to all the parents and teachers and educators like all of us, that we should not forget, once the COVID sooner or later is going to go away from our memories, the impact should remain, and we should take some lessons permanently. I think the ATL spirit, or the scientific spirit that Dr. Kumar spoke so much about, is here to stay. The world has actually shaken us and said, you know what, this is what you need. And I think this is the time when we all have to pause and say, when my school reopens, is the way I educate going to change? And why school reopens? I think like Venkateswara Group of Schools, you have not stopped teaching, learning. You are opening up through webinars. So many people, this is a unique opportunity for your students and for the community, that we are hearing stalwarts like Dr. Kumar speak. It's a huge opportunity. I have not heard him speak before this, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. So how do we make this learning continuous? How do we make this a permanent part of our education system? I think is the most critical take home for us. Let us make schools, whether online or offline, I'm sure we are all going to go back to our classrooms very soon. I'm an optimist. And I think once we all come together, we all need to brainstorm. One last thing I want to say is, even if there is a problem or a challenge in a given school, let's not even talk about COVID. I wish schools include children to ideate and come out with a solution. It can be about traffic near the school. It can be about not sufficient water in the school. It's about I don't want AC classrooms, but how do I cool off in summer? Put that problem out to your students and allow them to ideate. Sometimes they could be mad ideas. And when we are not here to judge, like Dr. Kumar reminded us, allow them, because only through this process of ideation can we refine the thought process. And I'm telling you, the solutions that are likely and innovations that are likely to come from students will be far more innovative than what you and I, as 40-year-olds, can bring together and say, okay, this is the idea I have. So I think this can be a start. Make it inclusive, make it democratic, and make children a part of every step that we take. And I'm sure the world is going to be a beautiful place. COVIDs may come, any other crisis may come, but we, with our social, emotional, and cognitive wisdom and skill, will conquer anything seamlessly. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Dhanya.
Thank you for the positive boost, ma'am. The best thing that can happen for a toy is for the kid to break it.
Yes.
So I think all of us should have a 5-year-old day, even as adults. And I keep repeatedly saying this in our school, that every teacher, not the child, but the teacher, should have a 5-year-old day, at least once in a week, so that they keep looking at things that they've never seen in that perspective so far. Yes. A child does not know what a computer is doing. He will just assume it for anything that will come to his mind. And that is the power of imagination. That is essentially what we are missing in mainstream schooling. And how about embracing failure, learning, relearning, unlearning, and again going back and saying, no, I'm going to do this again from the scratch. That is something that should be the spirit of all kinds of learners. Even as all of us are sitting here on a webinar, we've had immense connectivity issues with this webinar. In fact, to be honest, I was not even sure that Dr. Unnaji would be able to join us. Maybe it is a learning lesson for all the innovators right here in and outside of the room, that we need to come up with solutions of mobile internet so that this connectivity problem goes away. And mind us, we are all going to be in this kind of a world from here on. We are all going to be forced to take up technology as tools for living. So when that is going to happen eventually, I think our students and our learners of schools, colleges, and various institutions can come up with indigenous solutions to challenges that are faced by masses. And the one point that I would love to experiment in my campus and recommend that all learners do is to recognize and reward experimental mistakes. We always have a habit of rewarding only perfect performances, perfect scores. How about mistakes? You've tried, you've made a mistake. It can be a stupid mistake. It can be an intelligent mistake even. How am I going to recognize and reward that mistake so that you feel as a child that it is okay to be wrong? It is okay to be, you need not be right.
I would like to share one thing. We've done this in many of our partner schools. We have something called a mistake wall. We put it out there in the corridor, and we encourage children to go and write what mistakes they made, because we are always trying to hide behind mistakes, right? We don't want to say. But I think if we are promoting this, not to tell them that keep making mistakes, but tell them that mistakes are a part of learning. I think that's been so successful, and we should all do that in every home and every school, I guess. Yeah, thank you.
Firstly, as a parent and as learners, and to ourselves even. And whenever you do something, you've got to be really, really honest to what you're doing, so that the solution that you give will not only impact people in terms of utilities, but in terms of what they take from your invention. Absolutely. That even COVID is schooling for us. Yesterday I was in a webinar with many school principals. All school principals are worried about what school's gonna do, how we're gonna face children. But I feel schools should broaden their horizons and think that this is an opportunity to learn, and this is schooling. Not just brick and mortar learning, but just learning from all kinds of crises, because life is big. Learning is a part of life. So that again leads me to the true inspirational hero with us, who's been a stalwart, solution seeker and maker at this critical time. And he has been very successful as an innovator first, an incubating, and he has now proved to be an able entrepreneur that will create that honest impact in people. So I welcome Mr. Aashik Rahman to share his story and also give us some tips, give our children some tips, give our teachers some tips on mentoring, how we will have to, look ahead and see that there is a bright path lying ahead for us.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for one of the greatest opportunities.
Sorry to interrupt, Rahman. Mr. Aashik Rahman has come up with the robot support system for healthcare, which is currently in practice in Tanjavur. And I'm proud to say that his invention has been adopted by the hospitals in Tanjore to treat COVID patients.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now those robots are in a running condition in Chennai and Trichy government hospitals also. And good morning to everyone, and sir, Dr. Kumar sir and Dhanya ma'am and Chitra ma'am, for thank you for everyone to being a panelist with us. And I hope UNNAT sir gave a wonderful clear picture about what the students has to do and what are the opportunities given from the government. And Dr. Kumar sir, he said the clear vision what I have to do after my invention. That is actually a biggest question mark of all those students and a lot of innovators. Even myself also, before 2 years, I doesn't know if I invent a new thing, what I have to do next. Okay, and now the Propeller actually it is working as a technological partner with a lot of schools, being a partnership with the Atal Tinkering Lab. And there we personally know, because I was a Tinkering Lab is one of the kind of magical world, we said, because whatever I want to do, I can do anything. I can do wonders in the Atal Tinkering Lab. But the many students, the major doubt for them is, okay, I want to be innovative, and I don't know how to become an innovator. I have some ideas and I want to become a creative person. I don't know how to become a creative person. These are the major questions which we are facing with a lot of students. And there we will tell them, you just take the problem statements as your innovation part usually, because indirectly every day we are facing a lot of problems with our subjects also. Even our school students, we are learning too many things in the classroom, like physics, chemistry, mathematics, tables, formula, and a lot of fundamentals, and everyone should know. And everyone having the same question also, where I'm gonna use this in my real life. These are the major question of most of the students, and where I'm going to implement those things in my real life. So there the innovation begins. So when we come to the innovation through a technology kind of things, we majorly focusing on problem statement. For example, I can tell my personal experience with this COVID. Then the students can get a clear picture about what is the problem statement, how can I take a step towards the crisis, and how can I bring my innovation for this particular problem. We were working initially with the trainings, and we know with that we are good in robotics, drones, aero modeling, and 3D printing, other things. When the problem of COVID came to the picture, everyone saw that doctors, police officials, and the cleaning people, the nurse, everyone is facing a problem, because they are the frontline warriors. Actually, they have to keep on connect with the positive COVID positive patient. But being being a normal person, government is keep on alerting us to please don't come out from home, don't be connect with any people, make a social distancing, okay, make yourself safe. So many cautions the government is providing. But when we talk about the doctors, they are very near to the exact positive patients, right? Because they have to touch them, They have to talk with them. They have to keep on food or other things, everything to the patients. Okay. So we thought that why not we protect the doctors, because being an innovator, we can able to give a solution for any problems. That is what our major role. So we thought that what kind of solutions we can give. So everybody they concentrate on ventilators, the face mask. Those all are the beautiful innovations that is came to particularly in this situation. And from the when we talk about the doctors, we want to create a distance between the doctors and the patients. That is actually social distance we need for the doctors. So we thought that first we need to understand the problem statement, because there is no use of developing a something and giving to them. It should not be a disturbance for them. Initially we had a robot that we call it as Zafi. Zafi is not particularly designed for food delivering for the patients. That is designed for taking the class to the school students. But when we start talk with the doctors and what are the problems, when we went to the COVID wards and we saw the problems, so there will be two kind of patients will be there in the COVID wards. That one set of patients, they are bedridden. The doctors are completely giving a food and a health, treatments or syringe injections for them. There will be another set of people who are got positive, but they are isolated. So there is no need of doctors for a frequent visit. But there itself, the doctors are going regularly and the nurses are going regularly for giving food or essentials and medicines for that. So we found the solution that we no need a solution for the patient who are in the bedridden, because that the doctor should go definitely. Because in the meantime, we can't create an innovation with give an injection with that accuracy, because there the doctors is mandatory. Then come to another part, the patient who are isolated, there is no need of doctors the frequent visit. But we can, if we reduce the frequent visits of the doctors and the nurses, we can protect them from getting affected by the virus. So there we redesigned our model. We create a one device which can deliver the food. And another problem here, there is no time for giving a training to the doctors and nurses. Sir, you have to create, you have to program this, you have to operate like this, because that is the biggest challenge. So there we found that we want to create something, it should be easily and immediately operated by the doctors or nurses. There is one problem, that is the operation by doctors and nurses. And the other problem, when there is a patient in the COVID ward who are isolated, if no one is see them continuously, they felt very very stressful, because everyone is, they make us isolated ward, no one is visitors, and they felt like there is something going to happen for us, no one is taking care of it. There we felt there is some personal connectivity with the doctors, so then only they may feel like, okay, someone is taking care of us, we will cure we will get well soon, like that. So that feel we have to bring to the patient. There is a problem 2. And the problem 3, what we found, doctors will be in a very hurry at the situation, because we are going very fast and come very fast. We are in the too much of hurriness for getting the tablets and other things. Okay, that robot should not be a disturbance for the doctors. This is a major problem 3. And the charging for the robots and the maintenance of the robots, these all are the major problems we understood, and we come up with the solution we called as Zafi Go. Zafi Go is the second robot. Zafi is the first robot we tested. Zafi Go is the second robot. That robot have multiple trays, so that the nurse or doctor can bring a food 10 people at a one time. And the major problem is our peoples, we keep on asking, I need only a 2-liter bottles, because in our hospital they are providing a 50 ml bottles for water. It will not sufficient for them. They are asking a 2-liter bottles. And as our traditional, we are not giving a food with a closed box. We usually keep soup in an open bowl, and tea in an open bowl, and idli or sambar, other things. So we make sure the robot should not be very shake. Then all the waters or soup will be pour down. So these are the problem statement. We comes to understand, we understood, and we come up with the solution. The solution should be came within a 1 day. So within a 24 hours, we came up with the problem solution. We designed a one new robot that is called as a Zafi Go. Now the Zafi Go is successfully working in the hospitals, and we are getting a lot of orders and other things. We are fully focused on that particular development of all those developing robots for various hospitals. So what I was telling, come to what is my suggestion is, through the innovation, we have to first identify the problems. Even many school students, they are having a lot of ideas and lot of creative knowledge. They are looking for where I'm gonna use this innovation. Before you start innovation, you have to understood that where I'm going to use this innovation, who all are the customer segment, and in what all are the way for selling those products, and what is the time period. When we understand this, then we can easily identify the solution or innovation. After finding a solution, get your products to ready, then as Dr. Kumar sir said, there will be n number of options to scaling up your projects, to where you have to sell and how you can protect your product, ideas and innovation, patent and other things. So being a mentor, because we are working with a lot of schools, and there will be a lot of interesting suggestions we got from the school students, because Zafi is not only innovation of Aashik, because this is the idea of around 50 to 100 students. When we told them this is the problem, they gave a lot of suggestions. Okay, so being a mentor, so I would like to suggest the students to just keep on focusing on the problem statement. Instead of you keep innovation on a second, you just focus on problem statement. For example, if you are in Tirupur, what is your major problem statement? Clothes, folding clothes and stitching the clothes. These are the major problem statements. And if you are in Manapari, so Manapari, which is the major business, the snacks. Muruk is the major snacks that in the Manapari. So you can keep all the things as a problem statement, and you can develop new innovations for those problems. Okay, and after your ideas is become a product, definitely you can get a support from Dr. Kumar sir, because he having a wonderful and a lot of ideas, not only as for the students and being an entrepreneur. And I need a major support from Dr. Kumar sir for bringing this concept to the next level. Okay, because initially the Zafi is created for one thing, for education purpose, and it is converted for the hospital purpose, and now it is again converted for the restaurants and hotels, and now it is we are getting an inquiry from other countries for event management companies. So we found there is a one solution which we found, it has a lot of multiple opportunities. So we can keep this idea as a core. We start developing these ideas for the multiple problem statements. Even one of our school students, he gave suggestions that the students, everyone is using a gloves, even that is also kind of a plastic one. So, but every time it is a removable, and they have to throw. That is also a dump of a lot of gloves are getting loaded, used gloves. So why not we use a 3D printed hands, so they can use, after that they can directly sterilize it, and they can reuse those. So these kind of ideas also we are getting from the students. And if any of these kind of students, if they got a clear guidance from Dr. Kumar, he can help you out to how can we scaling up those ideas with the patent and the product development and the funding and other things. Okay, and the solutions for the emergency situation, healthcare situation. Now, being an entrepreneur, we are facing a lot of problems in current situation, because procuring the materials and developing the robots and so many problems we are facing. And in the healthcare healthcare, we found there will be a lot of another problems will be there, because the doctors are getting too much of hurt by wearing the PPE clothes, and no one is, I mean, the cleaning people is not ready to enter to the COVID ward for doing the spraying the sanitizers, and the hotel management or the hotel peoples who are preparing the food. Okay, the patients is not ready to have the food also, because they feel a bit of what is that?
Not comfortable.
They are not comfortable. Even there is a lot of problems. Even the doctors also facing a lot of problems with the handling the patients, because somewhere the patients are a bit rude with the doctors, somewhere the cleaning people are a bit rude with the management. These are the real-time problems which the hospitals and the healthcare peoples who are facing in current situation. Okay, so if being an innovator, if we came with a lot of innovations for that kind of particular problems, it will be more helpful for the frontline warriors. And if when you can see the police officers, if government or corporation find one positive patient in one street, they completely lock down the entire street. There will be one police officer will be taking care of the who will, no one will not come out, no one will enter to the street. But the police officer facing a problem that the families who are inside the street, they are keep on asking, we need a vegetables, we need a food, we need a milk packets. So the police officer, what he is doing, he collecting those and he is delivering to that family. There will be a possibilities of affecting for that police officer. That is a one problem statement. And now Propeller Technologies is developing a robot for that also, so they can operate robots to enter to the street. They can provide foods to the families who are in the need, they can interact with. And there will be another problem statement, the sanitizing peoples who are spraying sanitizers inside the COVID ward. Many of the cleaning peoples are ready to spray outside the hospitals, but they should need to spray inside the COVID ward, because that is the exact hotspot. But no one is ready. They are giving a lot of silly reasons to the management that, sir, I was getting I'm getting fever, so I'm not entered to the ward. So that the doctors cannot able to spray those sanitizers inside the COVID ward. So this is the major problem statement. And the Propeller Technologies is designing one more robot which can operated through a radio control. It can spray the sanitizer inside the COVID ward automatically. And there is a UV sterilizing robot also getting ready. So there is a lot of problem statement, and there will be a lot of problems even in the healthcare. They has to fulfill within a short period. So being a mentor, I would suggest the school students or the innovators or the tinkerers or the technological freaks, please come up with a lot of your innovative ideas that can help to the healthcare peoples in this current situation. And when we compare to the Atal Tinkering Lab, after this COVID, we all get a very clear lesson that innovation will be a solution for any kind of problems. Being a human, we know that the doctors are the frontline warriors. What about the other professionals? The engineers and the carpenters and the welders, everyone is actually, the truth is, everyone is now working day and night to help those doctors. Even we are developing around 50 robots now. There will be welding work peoples, they are working 18 hours. And the carpenters and the other peoples. So when we come to innovation, we can help to protect the other professionals by using our skills. So try to be more innovative, whatever the problem statement we are identifying in this society now or after this COVID. So we have to be helpful for each and every professionals at any time. And thank you so much, ma'am, for this opportunity. And I would like, and I hope I shared most of the experience which I had in this short period. And even everybody know about the RC drones also. The drone flyers and drone piloters, they are working very hard for so many things. I think for a police official, for the healthcare, even the drones also playing a biggest role in the healthcare society now. So I think all the students, they will get a clear idea, because initially they thought that robotics, we completed the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 and level 5. Now they doesn't know where I'm going to use my robotic skills. Now they can understand now. So this is how our skills going to be work for the helpful for the society. This is how my learned stuff will be going to help for the one set of peoples or other professionals. And wish you all the best for all the students and parents and the tinkerers. And thank you so much for the Sri Venkateswara Group of Schools and Dhanya ma'am and Dr. Kumar sir for giving opportunities for Propeller Technologies for sharing their experience. And there will be a lot of bigger experience which also we are facing. And definitely, because this is my personal experience, yesterday we all got affected through UV lights. So everyone got affected. So we all had closed eyes yesterday. So still, being an innovator, we have to give our best to the nation and the society. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best for all the students.
Wonderful, Aashik, for the mind-numbing thoughts and your experiences, rather, and your take on looking at multiple problem statements, not just one, and listening to all stakeholders again, as emphasized by Dr. Kumar, is something that all of us now, it is not only in our classrooms, we will have to take it out into the field and think about how we can impact every single person that is fighting for us. And you had really spoken well into the context of COVID-19 and thinking globally but acting locally, thinking what is absolutely necessary for that particular region, and accordingly share your ideas and inventions. Dr. Kumar, we are all eager to get your final thoughts and also help Mr. Aashik on scaling and accelerating, which is also a question in the minds of a lot of young incubators.
For example, Mr. Aashik said very specifically, as you said, think locally and act globally. He was trying to uncover problems which are related to a specific zone confinement, wherein the patient is not alone having a need. There are also peripheral people who want to have more support, or somebody wants to get away from the place, how to confine him. All these kind of issues pop up, which are local, but his solutions are global. Like, as I said, Atal Incubation Center of Chennai University has been working on 4 major domains. One is this drone, as he was pointing out quite often. We have very many varieties of very many mutations of these drones. So you can serve with specific objects, and it can, for example, I just forgot to tell about a typical problem they addressed with Apollo Hospital. In one zone of Andhra Pradesh, there is a pocket of villages who have to be reached by road travel, which takes about 250 kilometers of road travel. It is like a mountain and it's a small valley inside. So if somebody has to go there, it takes about 5 to 6 hours road travel, and it's also a little tiresome. Whereas if a drone is able to fly, for example, a doctor goes there, addresses the problems of old age people with retinal issues like this short sight or whatever it is, and then they have to be provided with a goggle or a small spectacle. Okay. And for that, once again, somebody has to take this medicine or these spectacle packets and then deliver it to them, which doesn't need physical manpower to go there. So these drones can fly, drop this object, come back, and then keep doing it quite easily. So those kind of drone-assisted services are very essential, and these drone-assisted services can also be put into question. Somebody can pluck it like an apple. So we should also be able to have a swarm of drones or robots which can police these robots or these drones, because you know this society cannot be always taken care of in verbatim. So we should have a swarm of robots, swarm of drones who will monitor the activities of the other drones or the immediate environment. This is one such a typical issue which I would like to the young minds to take forward and take a call. There are several teams internationally which addresses different problems, but one of the thing is one of the professor in United States in the top institution in Penn State. He was J.Kumar, and he was a professor of robotics, and he was a man who pioneered several drones. And his concept was to even assemble a brick by brick building. Okay, and the precision a robot or a drone can do, a human being cannot so easily do it. There are advantages. Certainly, a man can do it very carefully, but there are also very specific routines which can be done more effectively by drones or robotic assisted systems. So one of the thing is like the school children need not take a conclusion that these are statements for a higher level of people. These are statements, these are issues for every thinker. He can be a budding thinker, he can be a groomed thinker, he can be a professional thinker. It doesn't mean at what stage he is or what stage he wants to be. So somebody gets saturated, somebody keeps growing like a COVID, and so it's not something which is to be robbed away from a thinker. Okay, so a thinker is always a thinker, and there are laboratories which I should also try to emphasize. For example, in Japan, if you want to take an object and then take it to a process condition, like I want to put it in a temperature of 1200 degrees centigrade under an air or oxygen or nitrogen environment, it's not so simple for a school child to do it in their school. Or if they go to an university or a system of institution, they will give their own excuses or it may take some time. But now in India, it is relatively very easy and simple. You can Google any institution which is open to anybody for that matter. Okay. Whereas in Japan, you can still do it. For example, you can go to a supermarket kind of thing and then ask them for this facility. They have a furnace, they have a temperature, they have certain pressure conditions. You can handle it for your own convenience. But more easier is in India. Given the scenario, you can tell an university institutional professor saying that, look, I have a sample which can be replacing a teeth. A COVID patient has a problem of teeth issues. We cannot address this teeth issue because the doctor or dentist is not available there. Okay, a COVID patient can evolve a problem which can also be an elective problem. Okay, so in that case, a dentist may not be even available to address the so-called COVID patient. So in such scenario, there are solutions which are available in our own institutions. You can write to an institution or you can Google an institution's support systems. There are R&D labs, there are helping centers, there are innovation centers which has different facilities. And likewise, there are private institutionalized facilities. Like for example, your school has a tinkering lab. There is an institute in Coimbatore which has a facility by name Forge. And in Forge, they have a 3D printer, they have a computer-aided design system. They can automate certain things. They can provide you like the robots Mr. Aashik has. So there are a number of handy things which are available, which needs to be prototyped, which has to be made as a proof of concept. Then it has to be handheld by an expert so that it can be a purposeful product. All these things are now possible in this country. Okay.
Lovely, sir. On that note, I would like to thank you all earnestly for being a part of this and giving us the light of freedom to think and innovate on real time. So I especially thank Dr. Kumar. You've been a wonderful source of inspiration to all of us. And Mr. Aashik, I think every kid in the block wants to be like you now. I hope there are many more people like Aashik helping us. So that on that end note, I would like to conclude the session and thank all the listeners and attendees who patiently are patient with us for this 2-hour session. We never expected it to be for a 2-hour session, but it did take. But I do not regret it at all. We've had greater learning that we could possibly do more than schools. Thank you so much and have a good day, all of you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.